All good? All right. Welcome to the first ever episode of the Lion Investors Podcast. I am your AV troubled host, Michael Morelli, and I am joined here by my wonderful co-host, Joe Mesner.
And I'm happy to be here. It's a beautiful March day. We are recording March 15th.
Yes, we are.
Sunday, and we are more than happy to get into some of our content today.
We are eager to get into it. We had a little bit of an AV issue earlier, but we worked through it. And, before we get into the content, I think since this is the first episode, we should, really tell the audience, what we're doing here. And we realized that there was a lot of things going on in State College, a lot of change, a lot of new development, a lot of investment, thus the name, the Lion Investor Podcast. And you'll see some lions, scattered throughout the scenery here, even on the table in front of us. But we realized there's a lot of changes going on in State College. We realized that many people that maybe went to Penn State years ago might not know about all these things. And I know that personally because I graduated Penn State in 2017. I was a College of IST. And I moved away out to the West Coast, took a job out there. And, I'd come back for holidays, this and that. And I realized how much was changing. And I moved back to State College in 2022. And ever since then, there's been nothing but change. So, Joe and I talk about real estate and investing on a regular basis, and we wanted to kind of put that out there and share our personal insights. We have a lot of context, we have a lot of inside information, and we wanted to kind of put that out there and share it with people. But, that's what we're going to be going over. We're going to have on guests in future episodes that are experts in the real estate domain. We're going to have on some people that maybe are deeply involved with some of these developments and investments that are coming in. And that's kind of what we're going to cover. So in this episode, we're going to cover a lot of those different changes that we're seeing. Some of the major developments, the new Highrises. Highrises are a new thing for State College.
They are.
Yeah. But before we get into all that, we want to also introduce our producer, Jamel Belade.
Hey guys, I'm just sitting behind the screen and monitoring everything. So
Jamel's making sure all the AV's working smoothly.
And we are more than thankful for that with some of our troubles this morning.
Absolutely. There is a lot of work that goes into making a podcast. And I learned more about audio-visual engineering than I really ever cared to know in the last few weeks. We got about, a couple miles of cable sitting over here. Yeah, you definitely want hardwired connections, no wireless wherever possible. Anyways, without further ado, let's hop right into it. I'm thinking what we do first is to level set everybody. We watch a video of State College, the current state, and I found this guy on YouTube that does some drone footage.
Sure.
And he shot I think this was a month ago. And go ahead and roll it. It's some drone footage of State College, an aerial view. And this will kind of level set and, give us some segues into some other topics we have for this episode. But let's take a look at what State College looks like right now. Relatively. So starting out here, you got Old Main on the right, that grassy field. You can keep going. Old Main's on the right, and you got some high-rises in the distance, which we will talk about.
We can see the Standard, the Metropolitan, and Fraser Center here.
Mm-hmm.
There's another view of them.
We got a Target and a Planet Fitness downtown now.
The oLiv on the right is a project I worked on there.
Yeah, we definitely need to talk about those and circle back to the oLivs. There's two. Classic Old Main. Hasn't changed.
Not at all.
Since, I think, the 1800s. We got some new construction at Beaver Stadium here, as you can see on the right. They're building some new suites. I think this was a $700 million project approved by the Penn State Board of Trustees. Got Memorial Field for the high school. The Metropolitan and the Standard. And for maybe those in the cities, these high-rises aren't that impressive. But for the longest time, State College didn't have anything over, 4 or 5 stories?
Yeah, I mean, there's some taller buildings that were built in, I believe, the 80s in the canyon, but other than that, we have not seen anything large go up in 40 years.
Yeah, yeah. Anything above 4 or 5 stories is big news in this town.
Indeed.
And now it's a regular occurrence. So that's the oLiv, right? Yeah, yeah. We got Penn State campus. This is the Maxon. And it used to be a parking lot, which was in front of Babies, in between Babies and Chipotle. For those who haven't been here in a while, it was between Babies, which is now gone, and used to be Gingerbread Man. Now it is Permane Brothers.
Which is affectionately called P-Mans.
P-Mans, it used to be G-Mans. This is the oLiv again, right? Yeah.
Indeed.
Another view of Old Main. Sackett building is under construction there.
Great view of the construction on the stadium there.
Yeah. That's the IM building, which is all new too. The old IM building is gone. Palmer. Is that the Palmer? No. No, that's
It's
Schwab.
the Eisenhower Auditorium.
Yeah. A lot of new dormitories. They redid a lot of them.
They have. I think they just finished up the East construction project, which was a decade-long attempt to rebuild the East Commons for those of you who are freshmen.
And that's the oLiv Highlands there. And then this is the Maxon again. There's previous site of Babies, now gone. That's probably about good. What do you think?
I think so.
Yeah, I think that's about good. Yeah, I think let's what do I have first on the agenda, Jamel?
You have the casino.
The casino. Let's talk about the casino first. Let's just run with the agenda.
I think let's do it.
So we got a new casino coming to Happy Valley, which is a first. There's never been any gambling or casinos anywhere near this area. The closest would probably be Philly.
I think it's in Malvern.
Malvern?
So if you're taking the drive from Philly and back, you'll see that Hollywood Casino on the highway there. And I believe that is closest. The other one might be Three Rivers in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, so I mean, this is a big thing for this town. It's going to be called Happy Valley Casino.
I think it is Happy Valley Casino. Yeah.
Jamel, is there an article? Yeah. Okay, great.
And I drive this every day on the way to work. I drive past here, and you can just see the progress they've made, especially in the past few months. They're starting to open up the parking lots, and it what opens at the start of April, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, they actually just put the sign like what you see on the picture here, Happy Valley. I was driving by yesterday, and the sign are up at the entrance. So yeah, it's moving fast.
Yeah, it actually is starting to look like that rendering there in that picture, which is not real. That's a rendering, but you know, yeah, we've driven by, and it's starting to actually take shape. I believe it is opening soon in April, so maybe on the next episode we can show some B-roll footage of the actual casino itself. Maybe Joe and I will go lose some money.
Go gamble a little bit and check out the amenities there. There's a few restaurants that are going in, table games, slot machines. So it is definitely a full-fledged casino.
Yeah.
And much different than anything we've seen around here before. So what do you think this changes for State College, right? Obviously, there's been some legal battles.
Yeah.
If you've ever driven that strip sort of on Benner Pike there, you'll see billboards that are against the casino, sort of from their lawsuits and all these issues that came in with them starting this. But tourism is probably the biggest thing we'll see out of this. And what do you think this means for the State College community, right?
You know, it's a hot area of debate. You know, pretty much the town is divided in half on it. Many people believe it's going to bring a lot of problems associated with gambling, and I see those arguments totally. But on the flip side, the other half thinks that it's going to bring jobs and, you know, economic activity to a relatively dead area. You know, malls in general across the United States are dying.
Specifically the Nittany Mall. I don't know if any of you have seen it lately, but there's not much left.
the Nittany Mall was hit especially hard, but in general, the trend is that brick and mortar is, retail is dying,
Yeah.
and that's been caused by e-commerce and plethora of other reasons. But yeah, the Nittany Mall is the only mall in State College, and it was hit especially hard. You had Macy's in here, you had Sears, you had a bunch of other retailers. Where this casino is going was the previous site of Macy's. And actually, Jamel, if there's another link I linked. If you want to pull that up, I think it shows the old Macy's, which we should take a look at that too.
Yeah.
I think this one you can put sound on.
Macy's that announced that store is going to close its State College location after 21 years of service.
Right, so this is
effective
where the
today.
casino is
We're told
going
the store is
today.
going to stay open
This used to
for
be
another
Macy's.
8 to 12 weeks. Again, the announcement is today. Now, no official closure date has been released for that specific day. Macy's hasn't given a reason.
Looking
for
real
the
sad.
closure
Yeah,
yet.
that sign tells the story of the Nittany Mall there.
And yeah, so it's been empty for a number of years.
Yeah, I mean, that probably almost a decade ago at this point, right?
At least, yeah.
So, I mean, I used to love the Macy's, but
Yeah. But I think if I had to choose a side between the two debates, I do think on the whole it's going to be a positive. I think what a lot of the, I guess the side that is highly negative of the casino fails to see is that gambling is not being introduced by this casino. It's already here.
sure, particularly with the online gambling that has, in the past few years,
Yeah.
skyrocketed, right? Now, I know a lot of people that,
Yeah.
sit on their phones and just play blackjack or whatever other games might be on there.
Yeah.
And so gambling is not going away, right? We know it's a problem, but would you rather have somebody gamble on their phone or gamble in person at a casino where they can
Yeah.
interact? right?
Totally. And I mean, to be honest, I probably would rather nobody gamble at all.
Sure.
But if I had to choose between those two, I would absolutely rather people go to a physical location that's local and gamble, right? Because there's natural barriers to entry, right? So you
Sure.
have to get dressed, you have to go to the casino, you have to drive there. With the online gambling, you don't have to go anywhere. You can just stay in your bed and hop
Yeah.
on your phone and waste a bunch of money. And then the other side of it is too, you don't really know where that money's going with these online apps. It could be going to anywhere. At least with the casino that's coming into State College, right? People will be losing money, no doubt. That's how they make their money. But some of that goes to taxes. Some of that goes to the
Yeah.
local economy. Some of that pays for the people who work there, whether it's in food and beverage or IT or management or security. Like, there are jobs that are being paid for by the gambling that's going to occur at this casino. And so, gambling in general, not a huge fan. It's not good, but between, my money going to some online, or I guess not my money, but like the local people who gamble, I would rather their money be going to this casino rather than some online app where it's just going
Sure.
to some unknown entity, right?
Well, I think that's the biggest point here, right? Is we would much rather spur the local economy
Yeah.
than sit in bed,
Yeah.
gamble all day, and
And it's
goes
more
to
regulated.
nothing,
It's
right?
more regulated.
it is absolutely more regulated, right? And there's security, and
Yeah.
they can keep track of you better, right?
Well, and the other thing that is different that I think a lot of the opposition, the people that were, opposed to this casino, don't see is that with this casino, like, if you do have a gambling problem, you can call them and tell them, don't admit me ever again.
Yeah.
And they have to, by law, never let you in again. And they have to check your ID and all these things, right? With these online apps, I suppose legally you can still request that they don't allow you to play, but there's so many of them. I mean, on social media, I am literally getting bombarded every single day.
Sure, it's FanDuel, it's MGM, it's
Even more than that. I'm
Yeah.
getting these like really crappy slot ads. Like,
Sure.
they're crazy. And it's like there's a bunch of them. So I feel like if you were to ban yourself from one of them, like another one would advertise to you and you'd get hooked on that, especially if you have a gambling problem. But
Absolutely.
with this one, you call them and tell them, don't let me in again. They can't. So, I mean, only time will tell how this actually plays out. The opposition could be right, and to give them, a fair assessment of their argument, I believe that they believe it's going to bring poverty. They believe it's going to enable people's gambling problems.
Sure.
So for me, what I saw a little bit, it's like how about the young generation, the kids who go to Penn State, like how do this going to affect the kids?
And that's where I think it all goes back to the online stuff. I think what that, people who are opposed to it don't see is that the young people who are going to school might not really even be interested in this physical location because they're already gambling on rain bet and
Yeah.
Exactly. So now what would be interesting, it's what would be the positive of having that. Me, for example, I really hope that the mall will get revived by that, because the mall, it's really sad right now. Like we have Planet Fitness and two Twister left inside.
I definitely think we could see a uptick of retailers going back into the mall after that, right? Like American Eagle, which was one of the holdouts, just closed doors in the mall. And we, there's the Dunham's has definitely brought some interest back. I think the Tractor Supply, or is it Rural King on the end there? Rural King has brought back some demand.
Some. But it's not the same.
People go into that store and they're not walking to the rest of the mall.
No.
Right? Mm-mm. So with a casino, potentially, there's more opportunity for some other retailers to take up the commercial lots on that side of the mall, and hopefully some food, maybe some apparel. We'll just have to see how it works out here in the next year.
Yeah, definitely. I think there's a very strong chance that food and beverage will do extremely well. And then, if there's enough foot traffic, the retailers will come back as well. And
absolutely.
That's what State College desperately needs is, we lost so many good clothing outlets in that mall. There's not a whole lot of great shopping. People are going to King of Prussia. They're not shopping here. So, yeah, that's the hope. I mean, that's the best case scenario, is that it brings a bunch of jobs into the area. And they might not be the best paying jobs, but, there are some good paying jobs. And then there's also a lot of part-time work. I mean, I remember seeing there were IT admins they were hiring. Sure. There's manager positions. And so the best case scenario is that it brings a lot of economic activity into the area via the way of jobs. And then also, obviously, the local tax revenue it's going to generate. It's going to generate quite a bit of tax revenue. And then, if the people who are opposed to the casino are correct, it could bring poverty, increase gambling addiction, and crime. Only time will tell. We'll have to see how it plays out, hopefully for the best. But like Jamel said, it's coming. So there's no stopping it now.
There's no way to avoid it.
We talked a lot about, the post results of the casino, but maybe we should back up and talk about how this all started.
Sure.
My understanding, and I could be completely wrong, but was that there was a gambling license that was available for auction, and one of the Penn State board of trustees, Ira Lupert, was the high bidder on it, and I believe he bought the gambling license. It was for a mini casino, not a full-fledged casino.
Yes.
He paid something like a little over $10 million, and he was the winning bidder. Ira Lupert, for those that don't know, is a venture capitalist, and he's a big-time investor. He runs a private equity firm, I believe, out of Philadelphia. And I think he has some experience in starting different casinos before. I believe he started a few in the Philly area and a few in Pennsylvania. And originally, he was the winning bidder, and then he was intending on partnering with Bally's. They're a gigantic gambling organization that has stake in a lot of different casinos in the United States. But then it was challenged by another group that was interested in the license, and they hung up the process for maybe a year or two. And
it was quite a while that they were in court.
It went to the Pennsylvania Supreme Court.
Mm-hmm.
And ultimately what happened, I believe, was that Bally's had to bow out. Mm-hmm. And Ira brought on a new partner, which was Saratoga Casino Holdings, I believe, out of New York State. And so that's the new partner. But I believe there's some other local figures that are involved. And it's been a while since I've sort of done my deep dive on the ownership, but
Sure.
I believe Bob Poole, who's another, local, construction.
Yeah, I mean, he
Guy.
owns S&A Homes as well as a portion of Anderson Pool,
Yeah.
and they're doing the primary construction on that facility. So he definitely has a decent stake.
And then there's another fellow on the board of trustees at Penn State that was involved, and I'm blanking on his name. Jamil, do you mind pulling up on Google the Penn State Board of Trustees real quick? Yeah.
Meet the trustees.
Okay, so Neela Bendapudi is the president of Penn State.
Josh Shapiro, our
So
governor.
you've got different segments. So go back to this up. So members ex officio, and then go down, and then you have appointed by the governor, right? And keep going down a little bit. So elected by alumni, you keep going down. Keep going. So it's Richard, go up a little bit. Richard Solikoff. So he's also involved to a degree.
Sure.
And he's, I think, a C-level exec of a pretty large real estate conglomerate that I believe owns some of the most commercial space in Pennsylvania.
Yes, the Simon Group, right? And they own
Yep.
King of Prussia. If you guys have ever been to an outlet mall, it's probably owned by the Simon Group. They have a whole ton of commercial real estate and are really, I think, taking over in many ways as the new form of mall, right? With outlet malls and any of the malls that have been continuously successful, like King of Prussia, they now own essentially.
Right. So, those are the people that largely were behind the casino.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of money's gone into this, and they're going to see a return on their investment, I'm sure. I speaking personally, taking, all the other factors out of this equation, personally, I'm excited about it. State College needs some extra things to do. It's so student focused, right? Like, I'm no longer in college. You're no longer in college. State College is lacking things to do for people who aren't students. And, for me, I'm not going to be going there every day or on a regular basis, but it's another thing that I can go do now. It's like I can go out with some friends to the casino and play a little blackjack once in a while. Like, and to me, that's a good thing because State College is really lacking in those areas.
Yeah, and I would agree. We have all of the outdoor recreation in the world around here, and you can go hiking and do all these other things. But, as far as like different activities to do at a commercial space, there's not a whole ton of them.
Right.
And a lot of the bars and
they're very
space
student
downtown,
focused.
yeah, it's all student focused. So having another thing that you can do is always a good thing in this town.
People that are from State College, or that live in State College rather, like rejoice when the students leave for the summer because they're like, yes, we can go finally out to the bars, right? Like that's actually a thing.
Well, we experienced this week, it's spring break right now, and so it is a lot less crowded and a lot easier to do some of these things.
So I think another space that's not completely dominated by students that, people who live here or that aren't college can go and just like either get some food, have a drink, or, gamble a little bit, that's okay. And I think that's a good thing. So I'm personally excited. I know I'm going to go there and play blackjack once in a while just for fun. I wish there was a poker room, but there's not.
Is there not?
Not for a mini casino. They have table games where you're playing against, the dealer. So they'll have Ultimate Texas Hold'em, roulette, blackjack, these types of games. But they're not going to have a poker room where you can play against other players, which is really unfortunate. That would have been awesome, but it is what it is.
But you guys bring a really good point here. Like what you say, I will say you're right, because what you do in psychology is to either go to bar when the kids are here. When the kids are out, you go to a restaurant, and most of the weekend you just do your shopping. Or if you like the outdoor, you can go outdoor, go for a walk with the kids and stuff like that. But other than that, you don't really have much. So bring a little bit more life for people like us, I think.
I think so. Yeah.
Well, and tourism at the end of the day. The closest
Right.
casino being, I want to say, 120 odd miles away.
Yeah.
It's bound to bring some people in, so that helps the community as well, from a tax revenue standpoint and everything else.
I think you're absolutely right. I think a lot of people will travel to State College specifically for this now. So it also makes State College a destination beyond just football games and just for Arts Fest or whatever it is. People will come now on a regular basis to visit the casino. Now, imagine on a football game weekend, that place is going to be bringing in some money.
That'll be crazy.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that kind of wraps it up for the casino. So now people kind of know that's coming. That's one of the major developments that we'll expect here in really the next couple weeks. It's probably going to open here in April. So when we were watching that intro footage, when we were looking at the drone footage, two pretty prominent high-rises were the Metropolitan and the Standard, and they've recently been renamed, and we'll kind of go into that. The first one we're looking at here is it was called the Metropolitan, and this was built probably about 8 to 10 years ago.
Yeah, I
something
think it
like
was the
this.
first one that came up
Yes.
after the Fraser Center, right?
And I
that was
believe-
primary hotel, but this is primarily a student residence with
Yeah.
some commercial and office space in it.
And what was here before, for those that haven't been back to State College in a minute, this used to be an Arby's. And what killed the Arby's was multiple cars. Multiple cars had crashed into the Arby's.
It seemed to be like a magnet for
It did.
vehicles coming down College Avenue.
Well, I mean, it kind of, yep, there it is. So, yeah, somebody had a little too much to drink, and they really wanted some curly fries and a roast beef sandwich.
We want the meats.
They wanted the meats a little too much, and they thought it was a drive-through, and it wasn't. It was a concrete pillar, it appears.
Which is now laying on top of their car.
Yeah. So yeah, there were two back-to-back, and that ultimately ended up killing the Arby's. And there's some conspiracies that perhaps this was planned to get the Arby's to shut down, but we don't.
There's always a chance.
We don't know. But so the Arby's is gone, has been gone for a long time, and this is what was built in its place. But nobody's crashed into this. So
That raises some questions, right?
Yeah,
Maybe
right.
because it's a little more obvious.
Yeah.
But
yeah, that could be. We don't know. Were you gonna say something?
And this one at the bottom, I think it's hosting a Japanese sushi place. What's the name of it?
Tadashi.
Tadashi's
Tadashi?
in there. They do a great job. They
Yeah,
have 2
here.
locations.
I heard a lot of good stuff here. At the first floor, what do they have, guys? Do anybody know what's on the first floor? Because I think it's supposed to be commercial, but I don't see anything being built. lately.
Yeah, I mean, there's an open retail bay on the first floor there, as well as the entrance on the right side over there. But as far as the second floor, that office space, currently I believe it's entirely occupied by KCF.
Yep.
And I think that's their primary office now downtown.
Yeah.
They've been a bunch of different locations over the years, and I know they still have another one on Fraser. But yeah, I've been up to that space once. It's phenomenal.
Yeah.
Commercial spot, and you get a great view of College and Atherton there. So prime location for them.
Yeah, and for those that don't know, KCF Technologies is a company that I believe was incubated in State College, and
Yes.
they've done pretty well. And it's cool to see that businesses are starting up here and taking root. That's great, and I suspect we'll see some more of that. A lot of people have been saying that State College is kind of this is maybe a little exaggeration, but the Silicon Valley of Pennsylvania, they're thinking it's going to be kind of the tech startup-y hub of Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, you've got things going on in Philadelphia and Pittsburgh, but I think State College is going to catch up here soon.
Well, we've seen a lot of, obviously we have a bunch of talented students coming out of the university, but for those who stay, like KCF's one example, I know like Weebly, the website design platform, which was first to market, I believe, really in that field, came from State College as well.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was Penn State grads. I don't know if they founded it in State College, but it was a group of Penn State guys. So
That's interesting. So this used to be called the Metropolitan, and now it has been purchased along with the Standard. If you scroll down a little bit, this is the Standard. These are both relatively new buildings. The Metropolitan was a little bit older. The Standard's a little bit more recent, maybe 5 years old.
yeah, it was a few years after the
after.
Met went up.
And so these were both built separately, and the owners were Landmark Properties, which is a large real estate conglomerate, and the Abu Dhabi
Investment Authority.
Investment Authority, yeah. And they recently sold both of these buildings to Morgan Stanley Investments. I think it was Morgan Stanley Real Estate Investments. For these two and some other ones from universities around the United States, they sold the package. I believe it was 8 properties for $1 billion. And these two were part of that transaction. I think I have an article linked in there, Jamel, that maybe if you could pull that up, we can just look at that quickly. But the Metropolitan is no longer called the Metropolitan. It's called the Yugo Pinnacle, I believe. And then the Standard is now called the Yugo Echelon. I might have them flip-flopped. The namings are a little confusing. But yeah, you can see here that 8 properties were sold, right, from Landmark Properties and the Abu Dhabi Investment Authority to Morgan Stanley Investment Management and Global Student Accommodation, total of 6,200 units, sold for $1 billion. And if you scroll down there a little bit, you'll see that list of those 8 properties. And so the Standard and the Metropolitan and State College serving Penn State University were 2 out of that 8, which is interesting. I mean, I didn't even know that the Abu Dhabi Investment Authority had any stake in those buildings. I knew kind of Landmark was involved, but I didn't know about that part.
Well, and there's a lot of money that transacts, especially in these college towns, right? State College, the amount of money that goes into these high rises and buildings to accommodate the luxury needs of these students, or wants, so I should say, is ridiculous, right? I mean, it's fascinating to watch how much they'll put into building one of these.
Right. Yeah. If you can go back, Jamel, to the other tab real quick, let's look at the rooms on one of these. Any building, doesn't matter. Yeah, actually go back to the Standard. The Echelon, my bad.
That's okay. We're just used to the old names on them.
Right. I don't even think people in State College still know that these are renamed.
No, they're going to call them the Standard and the Met for years to come.
Click on that, the Basswood. Yeah. So, these buildings are so lucrative, like you were saying about the money transferring on these properties. They're lucrative for a reason. And the reason why is because you've got a 2-bedroom here with 4 occupants, where they have basically 2 beds shoved into a room. And you've got 4 different bathrooms there, which is a very strange layout.
It is.
You might be thinking, wow, $1,350 for all that? That's per bed.
This is a $5,000+ unit, right, to rent.
Correct.
And
this
really odd layouts too, right? This entirely caters to the student market. I mean, what other practical uses could you see for a unit like this?
Well, if it were, let's say, a couple that, are professionals that work in town, they now have double the bathrooms they need, which is kind of insane. I mean, it's nice to have your own bathroom, but do you need 2 bathrooms each? I mean, because really a 2-bedroom is really fitted for 2 people, or maybe 3 max, which that's going to be mostly like 2 people and their kid, right?
Yeah.
1 child. That could make sense. But you're not going to have 4 random people living together. That's not very common. It happens, but it's not that common. It's only common among students.
Absolutely.
And that's why they're able to charge $1,350 per occupant.
And that's crazy to me that the bedroom are not even like split into, like,
Well, they can't.
You just got a divider wall in there.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Like you pay this price, but to have a roommate in your bedroom.
Right.
It's,
And that's only going to fly with students.
oh yeah.
It is.
Not going to fly with anything else. And you can see the kitchen is super small, and you don't really have any type of, I mean, you got a very small living room. So yeah, I mean, these units are built for students exclusively, and you know, if the student market were ever to diminish in any capacity, they wouldn't be useless. They'd still be rented, but
Sure.
they're gonna be
They're not going to be at the same price point that these investors are hoping to get out of them.
no, right?
Particularly with, you know, some of the Penn State enrollment figures we've seen coming out lately. Like, growth has slowed a little bit, but the construction of these high rises has not. So
Do we still have the perks that they were offering? If you go back, didn't it say bonuses? No, hit back twice. Bonus perks. Is that it? They reduced it.
no, they're not even giving you anything
No
anymore.
$10 gift card.
Shame.
They used to be offering a $10 Chick-fil-A gift card.
I think it depends on which one. This one was Echelon. This has,
Oh, they're having a harder time renting this one.
They scrapped the gift cards.
yeah, they did.
Wow. I mean, we looked at this a couple weeks ago, and they were offering $10 Chick-fil-A gift cards. I guess that is off the table.
No longer.
Forget
can you
about
get
it.
I don't even know. Does that get you a whole chicken sandwich meal? It's probably like $12, right?
Yeah, you might need to come up with the difference. Yeah. But, you know, that wraps it up pretty much for the Metropolitan Standard. Now, the Yugos. Weird name, by the way. Not my favorite.
Yeah, I'm not a fan either, but what are you going to do, right?
Like, Yugo Echelon, Yugo Pinnacle. Like, why not just, like, name them something a little different?
I think they're branded. I think that's why.
Although, the oLivs did the same thing, technically.
They did.
Let's get into that, right? So these two buildings are they're newer than the Metropolitan Standard or the Yugos. They're within the last 2 years.
Yeah, in the past, just about 2 years ago now, they opened up for occupants.
Yeah, and so these are some new high rises to State College within the last couple of years. And to give you some context on where these are, those who were alumni several years ago probably remember Mad Mex. It was a really popular bar and restaurant next to the Days Inn. The Days Inn also had Brewski's Bottle Shop, which many people probably remember grabbing a six-pack from. There's a video that we have of this, and Jamel, can you pull that up real quick, and we'll take a look at that. So this maybe jog some people's memory of where we're talking
block
about.
Of South Pew Street is the proposed site of this new project. The housing complex would impact 3 businesses that currently call that area home. Mad Mex Restaurant,
I do miss
the
Mad
Days
Mex.
Inn Hotel,
It's a shame.
and
That's a
Brewski's
great
Bottle
restaurant.
Shop.
Yeah, it was.
Design architect Jeff Zalisco talked with the State College Borough Planning Commission in a meeting this month.
I had a lot of
really gone
interviews
out
in
of
the
way
Days
to
Inn for
celebrate
my
the entry
internships.
of the
Oh, yeah.
building. We're also proposing that there would be a mural element that's not necessarily
Did they
considered
do the
some
mural?
sort of placeholder, but we want that
They
kind of draws
did,
your
but
eye
it's not in
into
that
the site.
Proposed
location,
plan was
and
presented
it's
by the
not
Chicago-based
that
company
mural
called
either.
Core Spaces, who have purchased apartments in State College in recent years. If approved, the 6-story complex is expected to feature 172 units, a rooftop pool terrace, and a gym.
Units vary in size from studios to 5-bedroom units. So that's how Core hits various price points with these different type of units. So there's a lot of diversity in the building.
In State College, I'm Claire Vokey for the Center County Report.
We hope you enjoyed watching the video.
Yeah, so,
Be
so
sure to
you
subscribe.
you worked for Core Spaces.
Yeah, I did. And, when we're talking about development in general and real estate, my first forte into real estate and construction was on the oLiv project. So there's obviously oLiv Highland, which is where the old Days Inn was.
Right.
And I didn't get on that project until later, until I started working for Core. But my first introduction to construction was on the Hetzel project. With Macero, who was the construction manager over there. So it was a great privilege, really, to watch those go up, and I got to learn so much. And they were not experimental design, but they used light gauge steel framing versus a standard column structure. They are very different in that sense from anything else we've seen up here. And it only took really 18 months to construct these 2 buildings. So they went up very quickly, and they do have a lot of luxury amenities and luxury units.
And that's new. That's new to State College. I mean, for those that are in the cities, like when I used to live out in the West Coast, those are the standard, right? You're going to have these fancy buildings with pools and gyms, and coffee, and a leasing office and event spaces. State College never had this for the longest time. It was basic, bare bones apartments. And now you've got these buildings going up like the oLivs, like the Metropolitan, like the Standard that we've talked about, that have pools and hot tubs and gyms and
study spaces, rooms that don't even really have a purpose, right? But they have all sort of trinkets and projectors and stuff, so you can host those sort of events, right? And I do think that that's where the student market is shifting, and obviously that showed in town based off the investment over the past 10 years now of students want the rooftop pool.
I don't think rooftop pool was a term in State College until a few years ago.
No, and both of these are
those two words were never used together. Rooftop and pool were never used together in the same sentence in State College.
In general, it just shows a lot of the investment that goes into this town, right? And Core broke into State College probably 5 or 6 years ago. They bought up the Beaver Canyon, which I pointed out when we were watching some of that drone footage. They went in and renovated all those buildings, gave them a new coat of paint, some new LVP flooring, a new toilet bowl, and a new sink, and turned around and I think made a lot of money with that, and then said, okay, well, we want some more in here. So they ended up building those 2 high-rises. And they have, at least from my impression, been very successful so far. They are definitely great from a marketing side because you can show the videos of the rooftop pool, and they have all the amenities you could ever want. So it does go to show, especially when they had both of them under construction at the same time, and they're 125 million, 150 million dollar buildings, right? So they were not cheap.
No, that makes sense. Cool. Well, that's great. I mean, you think we're ready to hop on to the next major development? Yeah, so the Nittany Residences is a new project that's under construction right now, not even completed. It's still a hole in the ground at the moment. But for the alumni out there that are watching, this was where the old BioLife Plasma Donation Center was, on the corner of Atherton and Beaver.
Iconic location.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Nice fountain there. You know something about a statue, maybe?
I do, and I definitely will talk about that. But I think we should start out with the video. There's a video I have linked in there, which is the groundbreaking of this development. And it's got some segments in there, I believe, from Gary Brandeis, who's the CEO of Scholar Group, which has a lot of different irons in the fire in State College, which we'll talk about. But let's watch this video, and this will kind of give us a good level set on what's going on here.
Welcome to the site of the new Nittany Residence Club. This is an exciting project. One of the most interesting parts is that this structure, which is a individual condominium project, but also a hotel project, is really the first of its kind in a college market. Usually, condominium hotels are typically in resort areas, South Florida.
So that's Gary Brandeis, and he's the CEO of Scholar Group, which now owns the Penn Stater and the Nittany Line Inn.
Yes, as well as a whole slew of other hotels around town that have gone up recently, and he's really consolidating his position on the tourism market in the area.
But also benefit from the location and the viability of this market, so that they can use their property as an income-generating asset. So when they're not using their unit, they have the option of letting us sell it as a hotel room. And as we all know, State College's hotel market is very vibrant and very exciting these days. And being in the downtown part of State College,
and that's the old BioLife building there behind the
but also walkable
red
to everything on campus as well.
barrier.
This is the best college town in the country, and being able to walk everywhere and have the freedom of that is one of the key benefits of this project.
Hi, I'm Erica Scott with Kissinger, Bigetel, and Brower Realtors here at the groundbreaking of the Nittany Residence Club, downtown State College.
And so where they're standing to the left of it used to be the Atherton Street Hotel, and it's now called the Graduate.
Which I believe is also owned by Scholar Group now. It was originally by the Graduate Hotel Group, but I believe it was sold.
To families who want to come back, all generations, young families who want to bring their young kids back. So we've got a great mix of people who want to come to the community, want to keep State College and Penn State a part of their family.
We think that this model opens up the demographic that maybe now will have the ability to purchase and own an asset in downtown State College, because we have structured it such that we have the ability to generate revenue that could potentially offset some of your ownership and maintenance costs. 27 units have been under reservation. We have a total of 70 units in the building, so we're hopefully approaching that 15%.
This is not only a great project for us, the developers, the owners of the units, but it's also great for the community. It's going to generate, 100 times more in tax revenue than it does today, which supports the borough, the county, and the school district. It's going to generate hotel taxes for the Happy Valley Venture Bureau, and to get that money back into the community to support tourism and travel to the area.
But we have proud Penn Staters doing this project, and they're creating something that's truly special. It's a destination that blends the comforts of home with the excellence of a professionally managed hotel experience. And I have to say, this project reflects the demands that we are seeing in the community. People want high-quality investment properties for football weekends and other occasions to come back, and they want to also make those investments in the community and turn them around and have opportunity to monetize them. And this is combining all of those. The project itself is about continuity. It's about creating a place where alumni, visitors, and families can return here for generations to come.
It is truly groundbreaking, what is going to happen here. And it's not just about new construction, it's about a new opportunity. It's a chance to build on the economic strength that comes from being home to Penn State.
Continue enjoying State College and all that it has to offer.
All right, nice.
Yeah, and this one's interesting. Obviously that's a different sort of project than we have seen around here. But what strikes me the most about it, I think, is that you can't actually live in one of these.
Joe's right. You can't use, from my understanding as well, you can't use this as your primary residence.
You get 8 months a year, I think, is what the...
Which is strange. And we're not sure why, but you cannot buy one of these and use it as your primary residence. But what you can do is rent it out for short-term rentals, like a football game or other events. And for those that aren't aware, a hotel condominium is kind of run like a hotel, but you own the unit within it. So you get all the benefits of a hotel. You have room service. They're coming through and cleaning, and you have, food that can be ordered to your room and things like this.
You have a concierge and all those other items that you would expect, right?
Yeah. So it's a very high-end condo building that's run like a hotel. They're going to have a restaurant in it. They have parking and all the amenities of a hotel, but you own the unit within it. You just can't live in it as your primary residence. And we're still not sure exactly why, but...
Well, and you can't Airbnb these either, right? Like,
no, you can't.
As they were saying during the video and on the ads, you have to rent it out through the hotel.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, you can do it as a short-term rental, right? But it is therefore managed by the Scholar Group.
That makes sense. So you can't go post it your own on Airbnb, but you can... They'll take care of it for you.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, which is almost a benefit in many ways, right? Like, if it's a nightmare for you to Airbnb, which it absolutely can be, if somebody wants to take care of it for you and do all those hotel services and find a temporary tenant and then clean it up afterwards, I mean, that could be a pretty good deal for somebody.
Mail me the check.
Yeah.
That's pretty nice. Yeah, that's pretty nice, honestly. But you're going to pay a lot. You're going to pay for that in HOAs. The HOAs on these were quite high.
They were steep, and your upfront cost is high as well at right around $1 million, I think, on the low end. And
starting at maybe $700,000 for a unit. We're talking a one-bed, one-bath.
And then a couple, I think it's like $1,200 or $1,500 in HOA fees a month.
Something like that.
So
it's a lot.
Steep.
Yeah, but I don't know. Maybe if you could let them run it and rent it out, and you can pull in some extra income from that. Maybe that offsets the cost. I don't know. You've heard this is new to me, but you heard the guy with the sunglasses say that they had pre-leased or pre-sold 27 out of 70 units.
That's pretty good numbers for them, I would say, in a project like this.
And this video is about 5 months old, so I'm guessing they've sold enough to where they're probably good. I believe I have another link in there, Jamel, that is to the website, and they actually have an interesting feature on their website where it's a live cam of the construction site.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and you can actually run it back and do a full time lapse since construction has started. If you scroll to the bottom.
Well, we've seen that kind of technology become more and more popular. We had on the oLiv Hetzel and Highland, we had similar construction cameras where you could look in from the office at how progress was on site.
So if you go to time lapses, so this is current state where it sits today, March 15th. Yeah, click on that and then do entire project. This will be a quick time lapse of the whole thing. So you see the BioLife building was there. This is October 8th, 2025, and it's going to start changing here really fast. So there goes the BioLife building. It is gone. And looks like they're digging down quite a bit for some parking, foundation, and that's where it stands today.
That looks like their tower crane slab there. So it looks like they're getting ready to put up a crane as we speak, and we'll probably see that coming up in the next month for them to then start doing some vertical construction and pouring the garage in this thing.
Can you hit play again and hit pause immediately? We're right at the beginning. And what I also wanted to point out on this was in front of the BioLife building there, that circle at the bottom used to be a prominent fountain, and there was a big bronze statue there, which you alluded to earlier. Was when this building, they posted the for sale sign, I immediately wondered, I wonder what they're going to do with that statue. There was a beautiful bronze statue, which was a silhouette of a woman, and it was probably about 4 or 5 feet tall. And, solid bronze, beautiful piece from a local artist from State College who's done many other pieces. There's one in the SCLO library. There's several in other places in State College.
They're scattered around. I think the Legacy, the building has one outside
one up front.
of it.
Mm-hmm. And I emailed the realtor, and because I'm a curious man.
As always.
And I said, hey, what are you going to do with that statue when you sell the building, right? Because I knew, they're not going to keep the building in place. They're going to bulldoze it, and they're going to build something new, of course. So I was like, what are you going to do with the statue? And the realtor who was over there was very nice, but she kind of brushed me off for a bit. Yeah. And she said, I'll talk to the owners, but, there's probably not much we can do.
Sure.
So I just kept emailing her.
I just keep bothering her.
Every month.
This is a good lesson. If somebody doesn't reply, just keep emailing them.
Yeah. And this went on for probably 5 months where I just kept emailing her. And she did mention, I believe the owners were trying to see if they could donate it. For one reason or another, those didn't pan out. And so I made them an offer, and it was accepted. And I told them that, I would give them this amount of money and that I would also remove it myself. And I think that could have been the differentiating factor.
That probably would have helped.
Because it was quite a chore to remove. And I actually have a video posted of the process of this, but this is a 400-pound solid bronze statue that was permanently bonded to where it was mounted.
And it had been there for 30 plus years as well. So.
That, and it was surrounded by a moat of stagnant mold water. So it wasn't exactly easy to get out. And that could have been the reason that they weren't able to donate to these other organizations, was because how would you possibly remove it?
Sure.
And I was the only one that was probably insane enough to say, I will pay you and remove it, which is probably why I got it. But
it's a good deal for them.
If you can make that full screen, Jamil, yeah. So this is where it's at, and you can see it's surrounded by a nice moat of stagnant water. And that's that. So it had to be cut off. And this process took about 3 hours. I had to build a ramp, and because there was no lifting it. It was 400 pounds, so we're making it look easy, but I promise you it could not be lifted. It had to be slid down a ramp. And we mounted it on a dolly, and you can actually see my truck kind of just sink. And this is where I actually ended up relocating it. And I mounted it to an 800-pound piece of granite that was actually charitably donated by Mays Memorial out of Lamont.
Very nice of them.
It was an 800-pound piece of granite that sat on top of this concrete foundation, and then the statue got bolted to that because I had a feeling that there might be some ambitious young college students that might be passing by that had the idea of maybe taking it with them.
Well, there definitely are some of those in this town where if you didn't secure it quite good enough, that it might find its way to a new home.
Possibly, but to be honest, it is so heavy that even if I didn't bolt it down, I don't think they could get very far with it. This is not a dare to anyone. Please don't try.
You don't put a plate, but you put a Christmas hat.
I did. So a tradition now for me that I've started is that for the holidays, I decorated. So this was last Christmas of 2025. I put a nice Santa hat on her. And then
she's looking great.
Yeah, for like Halloween, dress it up, Easter, things like this. The name of the statue from the artist is called Soft Sounds. And now that I remember, it actually was commissioned in 95, which is the same age as me. But yeah, so you can now find that in State College. It is available to the public to view. It's in a pretty public spot. I'm not going to tell you where it is, but if you know, you know.
Let's call it an Easter egg.
It's an Easter egg for sure. So that's a nice Easter egg for those in State College. Keep your eyes peeled and you'll see it. Yeah.
Absolutely.
But that was kind of cool. So I was able to salvage a piece of that BioLife building, which was probably the coolest piece left. But
I would say so.
And I'm sure, if you were an alumni that used to donate plasma there, you remember the statue.
Well, I definitely donated my fair share. And
I knew a lot of people in college who used to trade their plasma for beer money.
I hate NIDA. I cannot do that.
Yeah, I never did it. I considered it, but I never did it either. Can you go to the Nittany Residences website? If you just search Nittany Residences, it'll come up.
This one?
Yeah. Okay, so this is one of the units. This is one of the
$2.4 million.
One of the bigger units, 3-bed, 3-bath, 2,000 square feet, but coming in at $1,200 a square foot. That's a
steep price to pay.
That's a pricey unit.
Yeah.
Let's look
about some of the nicest houses in State College right there.
That's what James Franklin's house is going for.
Yeah.
Did you know that his house is for sale?
I did see that he put it up for sale a little bit ago here.
Yeah, we'll have to look at that at the end. But Jamel, go back to that listing. Let's look through the photos. And obviously that's a rendering because that isn't there, but another rendering. Renderings. I suppose they're all going to be renderings, but so you got 2 floors. And what's interesting is you have a lockable suite on this, so you could theoretically rent half and keep the other half dedicated to you.
Keep your primary living space away.
And you better rent it because I don't know how you're going to pay for that $2.5 million.
Well, that's a great question. Do you think people are going to live here for any extended amount of time, or do you think primarily it's like almost a rental investment where I'm buying this unit and then I'm renting it the entire year, and maybe I'm here for a weekend a year?
I would say it's going to be more the latter. I think people are going to use it to come back to visit for events that they want to come to,
Sure.
But then the rest of the time it's going to be all rented. So
And that would be my guess, especially at the price. I think it's,
yeah.
I mean, they're absolutely luxury as it gets, I think, but
yeah,
it's a lot.
It'll be nice. I mean, hey, it's better than an empty building. So yet again, more development, and this is ongoing now. So I think they're going to be done with it probably in the next year, I would say.
Yeah, my guess, I mean, they're well underway. It looks like they've got most of the hole dug at this point. They're prepping the tower crane foundation. So
it's going to go up fast from here.
Yeah, my guess is 18 months from now it'll be mostly done.
I think that about wraps it on the Nittany Residence Club.
I would think so. So we talked a lot about some of the student developments going on and changing hands in
Right.
those units, as well as some of the luxury condos going in. But what about for some of the people looking for a first-time home or
Right.
potentially an investment in town?
Yeah, there's a lot of people I see in my business with my rentals a lot that there's people that are constantly moving back.
Sure.
Alumni that maybe move out, like myself, to the cities and decide that they actually miss Happy Valley a few years out, and they decide to move back. And so they're interested in either buying some real estate to move back and have a family or settle down, or maybe just to have a place to come back to for the football games instead of having to crash on their friend's couch, right?
Absolutely.
So, it might be relevant to let's just do a little tour of the State College real estate market and see what's out there right now. And March 15th,
See what's out there.
see what's going on, and we can review some listings and let people see. So let's look at the $899 one. Yeah, so click on that. So this is on East Hamilton Avenue. This is kind of around a little bit behind where the fraternity areas are. Not right up against them, but this is obviously a historic home.
Got a block in between, yeah, from those.
Very nice. $899 is top dollar for State College. Not compared to those condominiums we just looked at, but $899 is expensive for State College.
Sure.
But this
you
is
do
one
have
of,
a lot of square footage here, right?
Yeah,
200 square feet. You got a big lot as well, and this is in
and this
prime
is a
location.
nice house, historic, prime location.
I believe it was built for the first VP of finance for Penn State.
Interesting. Yeah.
It's got some great brickwork on it.
Oh,
which
yeah.
is always a
Yep.
nice touch.
Yep. Yeah, it says there on the plaque. So yeah, that's really cool.
Original door.
Beautiful tile entryway flooring. Beautiful hardwoods throughout. They've done a nice job with this place. Natural gas fireplace, beautiful.
This has been nicely restored, right? They haven't
Yeah,
chopped it up.
very
and
tasteful.
Thrown LVP everywhere. Or
Glass
anything like
doorknobs, very nice. Yeah, they did a great job.
And
Yeah,
fun
it's-
fact, I used to mow this person's lawn and water their plants as a kid. My parents' house is right down the street from this one, so
Yeah, it looks really great. I like the stair and the whole.
Yeah.
if you're not a fan of wallpaper, this might not be the one for you, but obviously you can always fix that.
Yeah. No, I like it. It's very clean, very nice. And again, this is one of the more expensive homes at State College. Beautiful brickwork in the back there. You've got a garage, I think, as well.
Yes, yep.
That's really nice. But this is expensive for State College, but maybe for somebody coming out of one of the major cities, this is looking cheap.
Yeah, I mean, if you have even a home on the smaller end, somewhere closer to New York City or Seattle, right?
Forget
You're
about a
looking at-
home.
yeah,
Condo.
triple the price.
Condo.
Yeah.
I know my brother's in Boston, and these are condo prices.
Absolutely.
And you're looking at a 3,200 5-bed, 4 bath
This is a huge house.
historical house, right, with land and landscaping. I mean, this is nice. So yeah, so that's what $900,000 gets you in State College. Let's take a look at something else. Let's take a look at something a little bit cheaper.
For those of you who might be interested in your first home around town, there are some options. Obviously, downtown State College can be a little more on the expensive side, but when you go and compare it to some other cities, it was much cheaper, right?
So there you've got a condo. It looks like 245, 1 bed, 1 bath. Yeah, you can click on that one. So this is actually one that I was interested in, and I looked at the other day. This is a duplex for $235, and it's 4 bed, 4 bath. I think it's 2 bed, 1 bath one side, and then 2 bed, 1.5 bath on the other side. Now, don't get me wrong, this place needs a lot of work.
It does. We walked through it, and there was
Yeah.
definitely some work that needed to be done there.
Yeah, it needs work, but I do see potential with it. But I don't think you're going to be getting a duplex that's permitted really anywhere in State College for that kind of price. So, but it definitely needs a lot of work. So, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens with that one. We'll keep an eye on it.
And actually, that's getting sold as a package deal with some of these
Right.
other ones.
A lot of these came up. They're for sale individually, but I think they were trying to sell them as a package. We're not sure. But maybe go a little bit more into Park Forest. If you scroll up a little bit more there, let's see what we got up in that direction. Not too much right now. Usually you see a little bit more in the College Heights area, but not much. And Park Forest, there's really nothing right. Oh, there's a little bit more.
Yeah, there's a few out there. A whole bunch up in Toff Trees right now.
Click on maybe the 271. That's probably a lot. Oh, townhouse. I see. What's the 885? Okay, so another house coming soon.
Oh, that looks like it's in Saybrook, which is one of the higher end suburbs around here. That's a big house, 4,500 square feet.
Yeah, it's surprising. Usually there's a lot more going on in Park Forest, so there's not much. So maybe go to Lamont or Boalsburg. How about Boalsburg? Yeah.
Yeah, not much in Lamont. Let's see, Boalsburg.
Just click on any of them. Okay, so this is more of like I wouldn't say this is a standalone single family. That's more of like a townhouse that's connected or a row home sort of.
And this is a
duplex.
And this is limited. It's a special place for old people. You need to be a certain age.
55 or above.
Yeah, you see, it's the place next to the school. Yeah,
sure.
This is.
And that's also not really a standalone.
I think those are all lots in Kaywood.
Click on the 325 one there. Oh, no, that's not the one. Maybe it was the next one, the 349? 345? No? It might be gone. If you drag the screen down a little bit, it might be gone now.
I think I know which one you're talking about.
So change the for sale to, or no, it's under more, sorry. Go to more and then go to accepting back off offers and pending under contract. I bet you it's pending. There it is. 375. So I had looked at this one. Yeah, that's the one. So this was a decent buy for somebody. It was a single family house with a long driveway, about a half-acre lot. And let's go through the pictures to show people what your money goes, how far it goes. You know, it needed some updating and just keep going. But it was a nice house on a private lot in Boalsburg, which Boalsburg is one of the nicer places surrounding State College and Lamont.
You've got a little downtown area and some restaurants and retail.
There's a new brewery in Boalsburg that's pretty nice.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
Yeah.
Or the one across from the military museum.
Yeah, what's the name of that brewery?
Bull City.
Bull City.
Yep.
Yeah, it's really nice. Yeah, that's new for people who haven't been back in a few years. But yeah, I mean, this was decent for the price, and I don't know what it went for. It hasn't closed yet, but
and it's a good sized lot.
Yeah, very nice sized lot.
Seems like you got a wood stove in there.
Yeah.
Whew. Hey, with electricity these days, though, you might be better off with a wood stove.
Honestly, Jamel, you know that.
Oh yeah, tell me about it. I actually start using mine. I live in my house for 12 years. I never used it before, but now the electricity is so expensive. Yeah, I go through 2 full cord of wood this winter, but my electric bill was like so low. It's awesome. If you can go wood stove like that, go for it.
Yeah.
Smell good. You can cook on it. You can do a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
A little dated in the kitchen area here.
Well, yeah, but
not a bad overall buy, right? You get a good amount of land. You get a good sized house.
Right. Yeah, you get a livable house for, who knows what it went for? Probably $350, something like that.
That would be my guess. Is that it went for a little bit under asking.
And it doesn't look like in bad shape.
No. It just
definitely.
I like deals like this where you can add some sweat equity and put a little work into it, and
Sure, you tear up a few carpets, repaint a few walls, maybe even finish that basement to some extent if you're able.
Overall looks decent shape. So I think whoever bought this actually did well.
Yeah.
So especially those who are coming from the bigger cities, they're going to look at this price and go, "Oh wow,
That's easy.
I can get
that's
half an
of what
acre
they're looking at
for $350
price-wise.
and a house." Yeah. Maybe go over to Lamont real quick, and then maybe we can do one last one in Bellefonte and then wrap it up.
Yeah, I know there's a few duplexes up here for sale right now, but let's see what else we got. Maybe that what's that 390 one? Oh, that looks like a decent house. Let's check her out.
I actually looked at this one and I don't like it.
No?
No. It to me just seemed like a manufactured home.
It does appear that way just based off the facade here.
Yeah. It looked like they had thrown a coat of paint on the outside. See the ceilings? Like it almost looked like a manufactured.
It does look like it was built in a factory.
Yeah. Like
that slope ceiling would bother me if it was in every single room.
Like it looks like they renovated it, but it doesn't look like a high quality build, especially for that price. But if you close this one, Jamel, there's another one that's like similar priced. It's on the right there. It's $379. Like, I think you had looked at this one too. I mean, this one seems like a little bit better than that one.
This is one I checked out. It seemed to have a good size lot, a good size house at a reasonable price in a good area.
Yeah, it's definitely a good area. Not the most attractive facade I've ever seen.
No.
But yeah, not too bad, but
looked like pretty big garage.
You got a nice 2-car garage, which is always a plus.
You got solid floors in here.
Looks like it, yeah. But pretty much builder grade.
Yeah.
Across the board. So,
Pre-2000s builder grade.
Yeah, you could make it a little nicer, but I just really don't like the outside look of it.
There is.
Yeah.
Iffy.
You do have a nice 2-car garage, which that's a plus.
That's probably one of the best benefits of that house.
And then let's look at one more. So see that one on the right, the 2.45 million?
Ooh, I love that house.
Or you could buy 15 acres, 14 and a half acres on Spring Creek and a mansion, basically.
6,000 square feet almost.
6,000 square foot mansion.
This is quite a house right here, though.
Oh wow, yeah.
Yeah,
I remember that.
People with this kind of money might look at this and go, "This is going to be a nightmare for me to maintain."
Well, it's true, and the heating bills are probably ridiculous at the end of the day if you got to heat this whole thing.
And they got to cut there's grass to cut and there's snow to shovel, and they, if they have this much money, they might not want that.
For the average person, this still needs updated, right? Like they're not going to want the red carpets, they're not going to want the green bathroom and those tiles,
They might be looking at this as a liability, that it's just going to burn a hole in their pocket with maintenance and updating.
Absolutely. Well, and if you want to repaint this whole house, you're looking at 6,000 square feet, right?
Yeah.
So how much does that bill come out to? You're looking at a lot of money.
So X out of this one real quick. The last one I want to finish on, which I think is a good one to end on.
Let's check it out. What do you got for
Go
me?
up to Port Matilda, Jamel.
Port Matilda.
The 2.49. You were close. Zoom into where it says Graysdale Waddle. 2.49. Right on the edge of your screen. Yeah, there it is. Yep. So this is James Franklin's house.
Yep.
Yep. So he just put this on the market. I think it has 6 baths, maybe more. I thought it had 8 baths, but I might be wrong.
I mean, that is quite a house, huh?
But I don't even think he lived here most of the time. Maybe he did. I'm not sure. I thought he went down to Florida a lot, but I could be wrong. But yeah, that's what you can get for $2.5 million. You can buy James Franklin, the previous head coach of Penn State's house.
And I mean, that's pretty tastefully done, modern.
Yeah.
Definitely got some nice game rooms and
little gym in there.
What does the lot size look on that one? Do you know? Or
I'd bet you it's like a little under an acre. Oh, it's 2 acres. Nice.
Oh, you got a good amount of land then.
So scroll down. I want to see the description real quick. Yeah, expand that description. 6.5 baths. A lot of bathrooms. Got the Sub-Zero appliances. That's nice.
And how much was sold before? So
what's our estimate back
estimate?
He bought it when he started with Penn State for
2012.
$1.5 million.
Okay. It was
1.5.
He's asking for $1 million. So
just accounting for inflation alone, he's not asking too much on top. But the thing is with homes that are in the $2 million range in State College, that's very uncommon. And there's
not many buyers.
I could probably count on one hand the number of homes that have sold for over $2 million in the last several years. And it's not many. That's the point. I mean, I only have a standard number of fingers. So
yeah, I mean, it's a very specific kind of person who's purchasing that house in this town, and well, we'll see how long that stays on the market, but it might be there for a little while.
Right. Yeah.
Especially because what's that other $2 million one right in that area?
Yeah.
I mean, that's another one. That one's not even nearly as attractive from an exterior standpoint.
He has a basketball court, like the heck.
Once you get into the above $2 million, or even above $1 million in State College, these are not moving fast. You can get a really nice house in State College for around $500,000.
Oh yeah,
very nice, and you can even get them as cheap if you go a little bit further out, as far as $300,000-$400,000, and you're still talking about a decent house.
And you can get 2,000, 2,500 square foot for that price range, especially if you're willing to put in a little bit of work on it and do some updating.
And most people in the cities are looking at this going probably like, what? I can get a house with land that's not a condo for $300,000-$400,000, and yeah, you can. Don't tell anyone, but people in the cities can't even touch condos for this. Like my brother in Boston right now is struggling to find something, and he's been looking for a while, and he's eager to buy his first house, but there's nothing that he can touch, and he has a good job and he makes good money, and so does his girlfriend, and it's hard for people in these big cities. And so I think he went to Penn State as well. I think you're gonna see in time the Penn State alumni are gonna start to realize that maybe Happy Valley is pretty nice. Start to trickle back in.
Especially as that that city commercial space and office space is not as attractive anymore, right? With the work from home transitions and all these other things, there's not as much of a need or demand to move into somewhere like New York when you can work your job from home. Yeah. So why not stay somewhere like State College where you can go for a hike, where you can, have some clean air, not as much light pollution, right? Really, you still enjoy bars, right? Yeah. Cideries, wineries, there's so many options here that you can't necessarily get anywhere else.
Yeah, no, for sure. Well, I think we're both beat. I think that just about wraps it for episode 1. Stay tuned. We will be putting out an episode. We had some requests from some of our friends about do a segment on like first-time home buyers, right? There's a huge process that goes along with buying a house, and I was talking to my friend on the phone the other day about this, and sort of realized that I spent about an hour and a half just talking to him about the process of buying your first-time home. So Joe and I decided to do an entire segment designated to just buying your first house and walking you through and holding your hand step by step of what that process looks like, start to finish, and guiding you through that. So that's probably going to be the next thing out from us. And then keep an eye out for our next podcast episode, which we should have a special guest on, a local expert on real estate. So keep an eye out for that. But in the meantime, we appreciate everyone who took the time to watch this episode. And if there's anything you'd like us to cover, leave us a comment, and we will try to do our best to cover it.
Let us know what your thoughts are and what you'd like to see next.
And for the love of God, don't subscribe or like it.
Please don't.
I don't want you to like or smash the subscribe button. In fact, just, close your browser window and, leave us some hate in the comments and discourage us from doing this again.
Please do.
Yeah.
While we're hoping for some discouraging words from our viewers, we did have some encouraging words from
that's
another
true.
podcaster here.
We did have some encouraging words from a nice man named John. So, Jamel, if you go to the agenda, you found it already.
And John is a PA local, and I'm looking forward, John, to having you here.
Throw this in.
Yes, let's get it here. Give me 1 second.
Hi, Joe. John Kiriakou here. Mike reached out to me and told me that you guys have started a podcast and that your first episode was just a couple of days ago. I wanted to offer up my hearty congratulations. I also wanted to say that Mike wants to thank you. This is going to turn out to be something really cool. Listen, I've been around the world many, many times, 72 countries and counting. I've had a really great career, but there are very few things in the world that I love as much as I love real estate. When my second wife and I first got married, we were still young. I was 38, I guess. And, with two decent incomes, we decided we were going to start buying some real estate. So we bought a house. We bought a house in 2002 for $347. We sold it 3 years later for $721. That was the DC real estate market. At the same time, we realized when we went to finance the house that we could do it just on my salary because rates were so low. And so we decided to use her salary to buy a condo. We paid $212 for the condo. I'll never forget this. We paid $212 for the condo, pre-construction. It was just a hole in the ground. But what we did is we bought on the highest floor we could afford, which happened to be the penthouse floor. It was the 22nd floor. All we could afford, though, was a studio. So this thing was like 400 square feet. We paid $212 for it. They finished the building 18 months later. We owned it for 1 week. We put it on the market, and we got $565 for it. So, man, real estate, real estate, real estate. You can't go wrong. I'm happy for you, and I hope the podcast is a giant success. All the best.
Well, I think John said it best there. Real estate, real estate, real estate. And even he's had some pretty good investments, it seems, based off that.
I can't hear it in anything but the voice, the meme voice.
Where it slows down.
Yeah, we got to do a redo of that with the meme voice. But John, if you're watching this by, any chance, thank you for all you've done. And thank you for making that video. It was awesome. And that wraps it up. Any last thoughts, Jamel or Joe?
I don't think I have any final thoughts other than thank you everybody for watching here, and we appreciate the viewership, and I'm just excited to keep talking about local development at State College and see where things go here.
We got a whole backlog of content.
We do.
We got a whole document full of things to talk about, but we've been going for about 2 hours or 3 hours today, and we're pretty hungry, so we're going to get out of here. But we got plenty more for you coming.
Absolutely.
So. All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you on the next one.
Thank you.